Alright, today I'm going to show you how to replace the volume, mute, and power button flex cable for the iPhone 5. All the parts and tools will be listed in the video description below. Take out the bottom two screws on the phone. They're a pentalobe screw. And then most of the time you can use a suction cup to pull away the screen from the rest of the body. My suction cup sucked at sucking, so I'm going to show you how to do it a different way. Take a metal pry tool and slip it between the frame and the screen of your phone. Only pry up on the plastic frame of the phone, or else you will crack your screen and destroy everything. So be very, very careful with that. Pry up very gently, and then when you open up your phone, don't open it past 90 degrees or else you'll rip some ribbon cables, which I'll show you in a second. Take these three screws out and then remove the metal bracket, and then these ribbon cables right here just unclip like Legos. And there's three of them. Unsnap them all and your screen can be removed from the rest of the phone. There's two screws holding on your battery cable. Remove that bracket, and the most important piece of advice I can give you during this is keep organized. Make sure all of your screws stay next to the brackets that they came from, and maybe put them on a piece of paper and write down where they came from as well so you don't lose them. The battery is a doozy to get out. The longer you've had your phone, the more time the glue has had to stick it to the back of the phone. So it's getting pretty hard now that the phones have been out for a while. I took my pry tool and just kind of slid it underneath and popped the battery out. And then this is the part that we're replacing. It's very easy to unsnap from the motherboard. The only unfortunate part is there's still a piece of it underneath the motherboard, so the motherboard has to come out. We're going to start over here in the corner though with the vibrating motor. There are two screws holding on a little bracket. Take those screws out and then remove the bracket. Once again, stay organized. Keep the screws next to the little holes that they came out of. I put mine on another piece of paper and kind of label it. There's a screw holding the vibrator itself into the top edge of the phone. And then this is the vibrator. You can see every time you get a text message or a phone call, this little guy spins around, alerting you that you have a notification. Then there is another screw holding down another little metal bracket on the motherboard. Put that on your little piece of paper, and then the flex cable for the charging port can come undone, as well as the little wire cable for the cellular antenna. Pull those out of your way. And then there are these two tiny little wire cables, which I'm still not exactly sure what they do. They seem kind of pointless because they're going from the same board to the same board. I guess Apple just ran out of room for things actually on the board. Anyway, 5 screws holding on the motherboard, and then there's 2 screws up by the camera bracket. Remove the camera bracket, stay organized, keep those screws next to the bracket itself. And remove the SIM card. You can also do this before you take apart your phone. I would actually recommend doing that. Then there are 2 screws, kind of grounding screws, holding the motherboard in place as well. Make sure you undo those before you try to move the motherboard, or else you'll rip them. Then the Wi-Fi antenna is actually attached to the back of the motherboard. Unclip that, and the motherboard is free to go. See both sides of it there. And then the Wi-Fi antenna is what I'm removing right now. There's a little metal bracket that just kind of sits on the back of the phone. I'm going to lift it up, and then I'm going to use my pry tool to kind of get underneath it so I don't rip it. Just going to separate the glue from the actual ribbon cable itself. And pull it up away from the phone, and that's what it looks like. Pretty simple little part. Then there are 2 screws holding on another little bracket up by the power cable. Get that little guy out of your way. And then there's 1 screw holding the power button bracket closed to the top of the frame. You can see that it doesn't open up all the way because our little ribbon cable that we're replacing is in the way. So basically unpeel it from the back of the power button itself, and then you can pull it out from underneath the power button door. Then there's also 2 little brackets holding on the volume and the mute buttons. So take off those 3 screws and then peel the brackets away from the edge of the phone. And then you can lift up the actual ribbon cable itself, the little flex cable. That little part up the top there is what controls the vibrating motor. Pull those away from the edge of the phone itself, and then you have to pull off the ribbon cable from the little brackets. Remember the orientation of the ribbon cable from the brackets as well, so you can put it back on the same way that it came off. You can see the buttons right there, and you can see how the ribbon cable is stuck to the bracket itself. The mute button was a little bit harder. I ended up using a little razor to kind of pop that out and away from the metal bracket. And then you can see on the part itself that it has a bunch of new little sticky tabs, so you can use those to stick it back to the metal bracket and put your phone back together. Anyway, if I helped you, the best thing you can do for me is just subscribe to my channel. I enjoy making videos, and I hope this video helped you. Thanks for watching.